Were you really hanging upside down? Tell us the
You
truth.
guys really want to know that? The answer to that? I really was.
Really?
Yes, it was. It was something like 20. It was a lot of takes, guys.
Guys,
It was
put
a
your
lot of
hands
takes.
together. So the truth is, I can actually attest to that because I have seen Folu work out at the gym. She may not know this, and she's a beast. So when I saw that scene, I said, "It's possible. This girl is not normal." So yes, it is possible, and well, she confirms now that she was really indeed hanging upside down. So well done, Jamal. Sorry, I'm starstruck. You see that handsomeness? It's disturbing my English, so it's not really coming out the
Sorry,
way I
you're
would
not
have.
the only one, it's fine.
I know, I know. Okay, so before I go into the questions, Nelson, did you actually hold a real gun, like a real gun?
Do you guys want to know?
They want to know, because let me tell you why. I sat in the audience and a lot of people were like, imagine if this are Nigerian police way. Oh, it would be so nice. Do they even have a laptop in their police station? So we need to know,
So I'm just going to give one word. This is one set that I have worked on that everything is as real as we read on script. Yeah, we had real guns on set.
Oh wow, are you shot one?
No bullets.
Very amazing, amazing work. I think we should wait for Maggie, or should we go ahead and she'll join us?
Yes, I think
Okay.
she will join us. So.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so Polu, what was it about this script that made you decide that this was a project you wanted to be a part of?
This was an incredibly well-written script. Everything from the beginning to the end. It is about 6 episodes in total that you're going to watch of Crime and Justice. And I remember reading each of the scenes and how much attention to detail there was, the cohesiveness of the story, and more importantly, how real it was to where we are from in Lagos. Like, I was born and raised in Lagos, and I'm sure almost unfortunately every member of this audience has experienced crime or witnessed it secondhand at some stage. We've heard all the stories. It's always in compare, strange but true, and I thought that this project so accurately highlights some of the crimes that we have heard, some that were quite famous over the years as well. So we've drawn from very real experiences, very real places to tell this story. And I also, so when I read the script and I saw that, that was the first thing. And the first thing I said, and anyone who knows, and shout out to our former commissioning editor, episode knows aware. Right from the jump, I was like, I'm doing it. I don't care what's happening, I'm doing it. Whatever, I'll do it. Do it, give me the script.
Oh, really? That's amazing. Because you see, crime dramas, it's not something that you see every day in Nigeria. Okay, so you see drama, you see some romance, and obviously with DJ Showmax did a trailer episode. So how does this stand out from everything that you have seen so far? That's this particular one.
I mean, this in particular stands out because it's quite true. It's Maggie, please come join us. Thank you so much,
Guys.
Maggie was phenomenal, as you can see. She's completely physically able. And
In case you had any doubt.
she was phenomenal with that wheelchair, zooming her. What was the name of our wheelchair? Rocket. Rocket. She personalized Rocket. It was excellent. So this particular project I really feel stands out because of the way that we approach the stories, the very human interest angle. I mean, just watching this in the story of Mr. and Mrs. Oredo, and going through the thought process of how people find themselves in somewhat criminal situations and dodgy situations. You don't necessarily intend it right from the beginning, but sometimes you can end up there. So to me, I think that's part of what helps the story stand out. Jamal, do you have other thoughts?
No, you said it perfectly.
Okay, fantastic. So Jamal, do you share any similarities with the character you played?
He's human, I'm a human. That's one thing I think. Thanks again to props to our directors, they were amazing. Props to Oyin and Mac, both directors actually brought out the best in us. We're vessels, literally. Like I say, these actors we have to just give them our bodies for that moment in time. And I share a lot of similarities with Ladi, like a lot. Calculative, takes a minute before he makes his decisions. There's a whole lot. He's human. And I mean, if you see them as a character, then they're not humans, but they're actually just like us.
Fantastic. And Maggie, thank you again for joining us. You were really amazing, you know, with the whole analyst insights. Can I please borrow your microphone? Thank you. So tell us, what would you want the fans to take from the show?
So for me, thinking about it, I actually, funny enough, I really don't, what's the word now? I think I actually think more about members of our police force, basically operatives and officers in the Nigerian police force. I believe Crime and Justice gives them something to aspire to. Yes, there are officers who are actually really dedicated to the job and trying to make our society safer, but then we all know how Nigeria is, and for those who aren't there yet, I believe Crime and Justice just gives them something to aspire to. Casey and Dan Laddie are just amazing, and so they should watch them and try to do better.
That's an amazing point that you just brought up. So you say, I haven't experienced, I don't know if anyone here has experienced any special units that is close to what you guys are channeling here, but I mean, during the course of preparing for this show, did you get to interact or, you know, pretty much go into this space and understand how it's done?
I think without getting too caught up in the details of what somebody's job is, what we spent a lot of time is, and we did interact with a number of police officers, and we had people that we called to consult on certain things and appearances. And I wish Williams was here; he would tell you a very personal story about that, how it affected his look for the show. But I think more than that, it was about getting into the mindset of these people. Nigeria is a tough place. It's a very tough place for police officers, for policemen and women. And I don't know if you've been privileged enough to meet some of the fine, upstanding men and women of the police force, those who are very helpful, those who are very dedicated. It can often feel like they're fighting this uphill battle. It can feel like they're putting everything on the line every day, including their lives, and people don't really know, but they are there. I actually have an uncle who is also in the Nigerian police force, and he was also in a special unit that was eventually disbanded. And, you know, hearing his stories and listening to him talk, it makes you have hope. And that's a very big part of what this project is. We should be hopeful for what we can be, not just in the entertainment space and how we continue to tell stories, because what Yinka and the team at Cold Waters and everyone who was involved in this project, what they've managed to pull off with this, I think is so humbling. And Crime and Justice will always have a special place in my heart for that. But also the reality of our day-to-day. We can be more, and we are more. And if we see it often enough, we say it often enough, and we keep acting like we are, eventually we will become just that.
Fantastic. Really amazing. Thank you so much. So Jamal, what was the most challenging part for you? Did you have to go on like a strict diet, more exercise routines, more pull-ups, more push-ups? What was that? No?
I didn't want to work with Folo. I didn't like her, so I was like, nah, I'm not going to work with her. That was the most... Yeah. Okay, that's a joke. For the most challenging part, I think, was literally not having a life for 3 months plus, because for 4 months, I think we had like this 4 Sundays free. Where, yeah, we literally were living as Danladi Diko and Kelechi and Simi. So we were these other people for that moment in time. Like, family was, I don't know how to explain it. I kind of locked out and zoned out of everything. And if you're looking for me, you have to come to set.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how it is. Like, you have to find me on set.
And so did you have multiple locations or
Oh yeah, a
okay,
whole lot.
course.
I mean you can see it from the show. By the way, honestly, guys, I have never seen anything like this on TV. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I still have goosebumps from seeing, just watching this. This is the first time I'm also seeing this, by the way. It's the first time I'm actually watching this, and well, Yinka, sadly he's not here, but so there's something about Yinka that I have to say. He's a perfectionist. He'll push you, and you're gonna be like, why are we taking so much time shooting this thing? But that's it.
Guys, put your hands together for Yinka. It was amazing, really amazing. Thank you so much. So on the lighter note, now this is for you, Maggie. Now you have to be honest, okay? Have you, at any point in time, had any run-ins with law enforcement officers? And what did you do? Share your experience.
Thankfully, no.
I'm
a very law-abiding student. What is a student? I'm citizen. I'm very cool. No, LASMA, no. Police, no. FRSC, no. I'm
And
good.
Folu has, I already know.
Yeah,
I can't tell. Yeah. Folu.
Yeah. I've had
Yeah?
I've had a
What was the
couple of
experience like?
run-ins. Which time? With, with which arm of our enforcement?
Anyone. Share any experience.
Okay, well, I'll share one that happened actually while we were shooting Crime and Justice. Some shoot days, as any professionals in the room, you guys know that it can be very long. You can shoot till crazy hours in the morning. And I remember thinking, as I was driving home, and a lot of the time I tend to drive myself, late hours or whatever. Maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m. we wrapped one day, and going home, and I saw the one roadblock, and looked back and front. So
wait, pause. Did you flash your SSC badge?
So that they will shoot me on the spot. Madam, please suspend me. Safety first. On that set, no guns or badges were carried anywhere outside of set, please. I don't want problem.
Okay.
No.
All right. Okay.
And I did have a police officer stop me. In fact, I was quite worried because I wasn't sure at first if it was a police officer because he wasn't in front. He was to a side road, and I thought, hi, don't be. They have found me today. And he does this very menacing, casual stroll. Now stood by my window. He didn't even say wind down, inner lights. Nobody told me I on the lights. I'm all done. Good morning, officer. I did greet you. Sir, I greet you too. Let me greet you better. Okay, sorry, sir. Hold on, sir. And asked me what I was doing, and I said, I've just finished working. I'm going home. Said, you look tired. I said, yes, and I only have a few hours to sleep, then I have to go back to set. And then he said, take it easy. You can't cheat your body. Be going.
Oh, that's so
I promise you a real story, and I just
that's
thought,
such an amazing story.
listen, and and I know that a lot of us were very quick to want to react negatively sometimes when law enforcement approaches you because you assume the worst at all times. Please never forget that however tough a day you are having, that officer has probably had a tougher day, I promise you. Please never forget that when that man has to go home, he probably has to take off his uniform, he has to be careful how he moves. Please never forget that. And if we just approach our law enforcement officers with a bit more empathy, with a bit more understanding, like it makes life a lot easier. I'm not saying you don't have a problem, but maybe the problem will be far from coming, that's all.
I like
So,
that. Thank you so much. I don't know why I am of the opinion or I have the impression that Jamal might have a different story or experience to share. You know how nowadays we always think that, guys have a tougher experience than we women, or we women know how to get away with law enforcement agencies. Yeah?
So, for me, I'm from the north, right? I always go with peace first. But, again, the same thing. Odd hours. This production, we normally finish in odd hours. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then we're up at 6 a.m. But I always meet them. I try to avoid where they are, because sadly for guys it's sort of different. They approach you with a little bit more hard love. But then one thing I try to always do is definitely what Folu said. I turn on my light because and a gun just takes one bullet. I turn on my light and I greet them, and then the conversation starts. It depends on how they react, and I react as well. But I always think about the fact that I have one life, and I have a family to report to.
Really?
So yeah, it's I mean, yeah, they're humans too.
Yeah.
And also being this character, we also got to realize that more. They put a lot into their work. They stay under that sun for God knows how long.
I know.
because listen, you guys are still going to see later episodes. Let me tell you that if you talk to Kelechi somehow,
Yeah.
it's like he slap you can collect.
Are you serious?
Nah, I understand. Did you see that scene with Tony Akwata, where he said, what did he say? Don't you know how to do your jobs? I said, what?
I know.
A whole no.
A whole SSCU
Are you
officer.
joking? Who are
Honestly,
you?
even me, I was like, oh, I slap you.
Civilians.
But I mean, so you see how this episode ended, and it's like the story is closed. What does this mean? I mean, what can we look forward to in the next episodes?
You can look forward to more things that happen in Lagos, more crimes, more people, more stories.
Oh wow!
And this is the exciting thing about Crime and Justice, which is why it took so much for each episode to be made. Each episode is its own complete story.
Okay.
As much as the stories of the characters follow through, each episode is its own complete story. So you can
Fantastic.
honestly join from anywhere, but you want to go back to the beginning because you want to know their story. And each episode reveals a little bit more about the core SSCU team. They're the special elite team. So you have Danladi Diko, you have Kelechi Farasi, you have Simi as well. In there you have our head boss in charge who's not here, Ogabi Boy. and their lives are fascinating. And I think that's what you will enjoy the most about it. It's not about police officers, it's about lives. And it's about how humans interact in Lagos. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Maggie, is this your first? I know you're an upcoming face in the industry.
Sorry.
So, will this be your first show?
No, actually, am I allowed to mention names?
Maybe not. Maybe not. But I mean, you've been in a
Yes,
few.
in a couple, yes.
Okay. And I was gonna ask you. I mean, sitting behind that wheelchair and just reeling off. Did you wish at some point that you got some of the action, maybe to slap somebody's face or something, or you're just fine pressing those computers? Boom, boom, boom.
So here's the thing about Simi and Maggie.
Oh, Maggie. Oh, so that means you channel the same energy.
Well,
Somewhat.
there's an intersection basically
Okay,
between character
okay,
and actor.
okay.
But here's the thing with Simi. In preparing for Simi, I had conversations with someone who is actually physically disabled, and I got to speak with her about several things, and just understand her thought process and how she feels about being in a wheelchair and all that. And I realized that a good number of physically disabled individuals are more balanced than, yes, mentally, emotionally, than we, in quotes, able-bodied people. So for Simi, yes, at certain points she might have felt like I'd love to get some action and all that, but then she also recognized her own strengths, which is her intellect, basically,
Fantastic.
her spirit. If you notice, you'll see this in more episodes. She's kind of like the bubbly one, sunshine. She brings like the ray of light to the room and all that. So she recognizes her own strengths and she's securing that, basically.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly give a warm standing ovation to the cast of Crime and Justice, please.